Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This is going to be Lex with gears and the moment. I kind of struggled with this one. I in general don't like Hall of Fame because they throw two gears out. You don't know if you're going to get one. You don't know if you're going to get two. You don't know if you're going to get none. And then there's a moment on top of it to go with it, right? So it's almost impossible to make content where it's going to hit like where everybody ends up with Lex. So in my annoyedness, I just leveled the moment. I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna make one. You can watch the preview without the gears, and then you can watch the one with the gears in the moment. I'll try and kind of let you guys know approximately where he's gonna hit. Interestingly enough, without the moment, I like the first build set I'm going to show you with Lex more. But that doesn't mean I like it, and I think a lot of people will like it. With the moment, and the gears, I like the second build I'm going to show you. And that one is much more interesting to me than this first one. Because this first one is going to take a yeet drip plate. I'm not going to run it without. It's not good. A couple of, so first off, his gears. The first gear adds 2 MP, which is good, useful, great, saves you a trainer. Okay, we're good. The second gear gives 200% gem damage, which doesn't really do a heck of a lot for the last moveset. Depending on which plate you use, it could. And we'll get into that later. But it obviously makes a big difference with the yeet drip plate that we're running on Lex. So of course, yeet plate, whenever you make 6 or more column break gems, increase all your gem damage 500%. Devil's Drip, when you make 6+ column breaks, make 7 random gems into multiplied gems of strength 7. So we're going to have 7 multis out there. Huge, big gem damage on it. Now, the moment adds 400% protect gem we don't care about, 50% less damage we don't care about for this. Botch gems do 400%, we don't care about for this. All colored gems do 75% more damage. That is what we care about for this. So this moment is adding 75% to this, which basically if you had a 150 strap, you're about the same as what we're going to do here. A little bit less. Now, you could very well run the finisher, which gives you green gems, and it does 4.9 million damage. I've been very clear about this. I want to explain it again. This 4.9 million damage might as well be 100 damage, right? And the longer the game goes, the more true that'll get, because the more tier 3 takedowns, tier 2 armors, and tier 3 furies people are going to have. You go in there against tier 3 metals that are maxed up, this is going to be a 0, right? You don't have enough to make up for it. So you're just basically going to hit for 0, so it doesn't really matter. Now, I could throw a yellow move damage metal on here, and then we're going to hit for 15 million with that move. It's going to look way better. It's not going to be accurate with where the game is right now at a higher level. And then like 3 months from now, everyone's going to be at that level, right? Or most everyone. So, I mean, since this is a high-end preview, it doesn't really make sense to put a high-end yellow move damage metal on and make Lex look way better than he's going to be in high-end content. All right. Now that we covered that, I'd also like to address something with all of my videos. I am not trying to hit the hardest. I don't care about how hard they hit. I care about, do they hit hard enough, and are they safe? I care about efficiency. If they're not safe, with the hundreds of cards we have now, probably literally hundreds, that you can win turn 1 without any risk, I refuse to play cards risky. There is 0 reason in this game, right? It just doesn't make sense. So if he could hit for 500 million risky, I really don't give a crap. I wouldn't do it. It takes longer. It's not safe. Now, moving on. We're going to use 2 moves. We're going to use the military press slam, and we're going to use the vertical suplex. Both 7 MP green. We have the gear with MP, so we only need a 1 MP trainer to load it. That's giving us 35 column break gems, and choose 9 gems to make into yellow. Pretty simple, right? Entourage is not this. It is one I don't have saved, so we'll just do this. It's steel. And the one that's probably going to surprise a lot of people is Rowan. Rowan adds 75% more gem damage to the multiply gems. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Mherex, there's 35 column break gems. Use the column break. Use our truth. It's not more damage. Tried it, played it, it's not. You're welcome to do that when you get him and be disappointed compared to the damage you're going to see here. By the same token, we want to add another 60% multiply here and another 60% here with a 40% yellow, right? So this is tricked out with the yeet drip, and he can hit this way, right? We'll talk more about that in a minute, but let's see what he does. This is also Sammy, class advantage here, because BPP counters whatever these things are called, row breaks, right? So now when you do this, one of the things I don't like is you need to find a full row of these, or you need to do multiple layers, right? So this has all but one yellow gem, so we'll set up a row break here, and then we just need to get the right column break, I'm sorry. I always call them the wrong thing. Then we just need this one, and this is also good because we get one of the multiplies. Then preferably you get all of the multiplies with yellow because that's his primary color. We miss one, not the end of the world, and we should blow up the board. Like that. And it hits for 80 million. It's a pretty decent hit, but that's a class advantage with a ton of stuff and a yeet drip. Now, I can outdo that with Goldberg without having to mess with the board. So Hall of Fame Showboat, apples to apples comparison with both gears. Goldberg with 2 plates that definitely aren't in as high a demand as this. You can pick your 2, whether it's a yellow Royal Rumble, Maze Crown, whether it's the mystery Royal Rumble, right? Goldberg can hit hard with purple. I just prefer Goldberg. It's simpler. I drop the 2 moves. I don't have to think about it. And there's no multiply gem counter. Right? This, of course, doesn't have a gem buff counter, so there's that advantage, right? I'll run it again because you can hit harder. It just depends on the board and where things go and where the multiplies go, right? So this one, less good. We can leave this, take this middle out, and then we just need to get there. That'll take that, and you can see we had harder time getting all the multiplies, I think. Yeah, we're going to miss the black one again. Should be okay. More yellows and a better cascade, so this should hit harder. 92 million, right? So it definitely can hit. But it's a lot, right? I would rather throw my yeet drip on somebody where I don't have to really mess with any too much choosing, but that's me. For example, Showboat Gunther. Showboat Gunther, you put a yeet drip, you don't have to mess with anything, you're going to hit for like 150 million, right? So is Lex good this way? Sure. Is he the best spot for a yeet drip? To me, no, but I don't know what's on your roster. Okay, now moving on to me, which is much more interesting, and it's very, very, very close to being exactly what I like. Very close. Now this will require the moment, absolutely. I'm going to remove the plates. And we'll run it without plates first, because it is quite interesting, and it is very fast. It also has a bunch of unblockable damage, and he gets way more interesting this way to me, but you absolutely need the moment. So we're going to go with this. And this, it's a two move. It's not a true 2 clicks because you have to place twice. So dislike that. And you might be wondering, Mherex, you could hit harder if you did the choose, etc. Yes, I absolutely could. But again, we just covered this at the start. There are literally hundreds of people you can win turn 1 with 0 risk. I'm not going to choose gems and risk a cascade on a high-end build, which is what we're playing today, right? So there's no reason, if you got the stuff to run this, if you got the moment, you got the gears, you got different plates, you're running a high-end build, right? So there's no reason you have a ton on your roster to work with. So again, just reiterating that. Loadout for this is quite interesting. Because Becky got moved to 100% botch, it definitely helps. And then the 400% botch on the moment. Because before he was only doing a very paltry 230k bonus damage. But with the moment, you're getting 4 times that. So it's an extra, like, what is that? It's 800k, 920k extra just from the moment per botch gem, right? And there's 35 of them. So it's basically an extra, the moment's basically an extra 35 million damage. Without the moment, you're not hitting at all, which you can see in the preview, right? The gear isn't really doing much of anything for this. You can see I think it's like 12 million or something. So, you know, yeah, not a lot, right? So Leaping Elbow, 7 MP, yellow, 540k damage, 5x7 to make into Botch gems. The hardcore we don't care about. You can hit harder, absolutely with it, but I don't care, because that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about consistent all the time running. And then the Forearm Smash, 10 MP, 1 million damage, plus 598k bonus damage for every Botch gem. Then Finisher, another 1 million, a 3x7 area to swap into greens. You can place this, you don't have to, right? Entourage, so 4 yellow MP. 4 yellow MP gives us 8. Gear is 10. Turn is 11. So we're 1 MP over, so you can even go against 1 MP down. Becky for 100% botch, and Becky for 60% botch. So that's 598k plus the 900 and some we talked about. We'll get in the match, and I'll show you, and we're not going to go against Sammy, because we don't have to worry about BPP reversal here. And get the trusty calculator out. So we are going to plop down 35 botch gems. Now, with this build with no plates, I like putting it like this because obviously it's much less chance of him not hitting botches when he's swiping. So we have those 35 botch gems at, with the moment, 1.15 million. That's 52 million unblockable, but that's really all the damage he's going to do because, as we talked about, there's no percentage move damage, so this 1-5 against top-tier metals isn't going to do anything, so it's a 52 million pin, and in this case, I'm not going to place the greens because you lose your botch gems. That's the other downside. So playing it this way, for this, you will kind of want to leave your botches on the board, but then, you know, you don't recycle. So you can see we hit for 56, but it's really going to hit for like 53. Obviously, Steiner doesn't kick out, but that's super interesting, right? 2 moves, place, and then ignore. 4 clicks, but 2 moves and very fast. So that's way, way more interesting. There are obviously a bunch of plate combos you can use for this. And let me just go ahead and turn the strap off because we're not running that, right? So you can obviously put Botch Slap. And that's going to hit very, very hard. Very hard. Even with the botch trainers. Let me just show you. Right here. That's an extra 64 gems. Right? So let's just run the Botch Slap. Now, it will make you susceptible to multiply counters. Okay? So if someone has a multiply reversal, you can get reversed off of this. So that's a downside. So in this case, we're going to slap it over here. Or actually over here. It doesn't really matter. And you can see one of these is doing, what's that, like 2 million gem damage? So that's not bad. So we do our 52 million. And then let's see how much gem damage we do. Another 37. So that's like 90 million. It's still very quick. Not as quick. And then there's the multiply, and that's like 90 million. But you need both moments, or you need the moment for that and 1 gear. The second gear, you know, you lose 200% on the multiply, which is something, but it's not like an insane amount. It's not something you can't like recover from. You know what I mean? So that's kind of interesting. But what if you don't want to risk the reversal, right? And you have the green boss man plate or the universal. So green or universal, they'll both hit the same. Let's just throw the green one on. Increase your green gem damage by 300%. What does that look like? Now the moment again is going to matter because all of those botch gems are 400% extra gem damage. It's not the same as a true multiply. The game just doesn't work it the same way. So they're not going to hit as hard as if those were like ×4 multiplies. But it will hit. It will hit. So We're still going to do that 52 unblockable, 52 mil unblockable, and let's see what we do gem damage-wise this way. 52 and 11 gets you to like 63, 64. Maybe still not ideal, right? So I feel like you probably have to commit the botch slap. Now you could also, if you wanted, you could go defensive, put armor on this, use the Rock's Finery, and use the MP drain, right? And run that quite effectively and hit for 52 million. Not worry about the and they probably won't kick out, is what I'm trying to say. But if you want to play offensively, you probably have to use the botch slap, and probably because the 63 doesn't feel like it's just gonna cut it to me. Now potentially, because the botches are buffed, there's another thing you can do. If you're not caring about saving the botch gems, you can overwrite them all, like this. So here comes the 52 mil unblockable, and then we're going to hit for 17 million gem damage. So now you're getting closer. You know, you're like doing 70 million total with a few botches left on the board. Kind of interesting, right? Not terrible. But again, I go back to Goldberg, and I would think I would just prefer Goldberg. So I think you're kind of locked into the botch slap. And this can actually hit quite hard. Botch slap's not in super high demand other than really Naomi. It's really not in demand. And then if you have botch slap and the green boss man obviously has 0 demand currently. So if you put them both together, you get that unblockable. And then you're going to get a bunch of gem to go with it. To the tune of, we're doing like 110 million. So you have something, right? 2 moves, you only have to worry about multiply reversal, but 110 million. So I think really Lex to me is not interesting unless you get the 2 MP gear in the moment, Hall of Fame Lex. Then he's a lot more interesting. Is it enough that I would use him over my top showboats? No, it's not. But could he be a side grade, slight downgrade to them? I think he could, right? If you're a Lex Mark, certainly you're going to enjoy playing it. For me, personally, I'd rather use Dudinator, I'd rather use Gunther, and I'd rather use Drew. I really like new Drew. I know I'd rather use those guys for sure. So, but if you got the moment, and if you get at least the MP gear, I do think this is a really viable thing. Plus, he's a great trainer, so you're going to want to be taking him gold anyway. Certainly Lex Rex, and it's certainly not bad. So to me, I think really, and this is where it gets difficult for me. So to me, like, I would have had to spend to get the moment, right? I don't care enough about this to spend for it. This is something, if I get, it'll be really nice. This isn't something that I feel like I should spend to get, because it's at best a side grade with everything he can have. At best, it's a side grade. So I just don't need it. It's not worth spending. If I get the moment, cool. But if I don't, also cool. Same thing with this gears. It's not something I need, but if I get it, cool. That's how I look at it. So is he good? Yes, absolutely. But you're going to need everything, I think. And to me, this is for sure more interesting than I would not ever put a drip eat on him. There's just way better showboats and way better spots for it to me. It's okay if you want to. That's just my opinion on it. That's my take. Is there a bunch of other stuff you could do with his gear and things? And like I said, sure. I'm sure there's a ton of other stuff you could do, but I don't see any reason to choose moves and risk Cascade at this stage in the game when there's so many options on a high-end preview like this. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully I made that make sense, my reasoning why, and how I feel about it. And in general, I know I am super biased against Hall of Fame. I tend to hate them simply because the way they were introduced for so long, and then the gears and stuff. It's gotten much better. This last year was the best year we ever had for both obtaining the Hall of Famers and the gears. Much better than normal. So the new batch has been really good. Lex's gears look like they're going to be more obtainable probably as well. The gold ones in the armory prize wall. Not sure about the silver yet. I could see him selling it for 20 bucks, 10 bucks, or putting it in a milestone somewhere. Or maybe even in the gear loot. I don't know. So, yeah, I think it's fine. I think he's good, really good. For a freebie, he's outstanding if you have super good stuff for it, right? Completely outstanding. Best Lex in the game, yes. Up to you what you want to do if you get all the stuff to make him work. If you want to slot him into your roster, you certainly could. But I'm very curious what you guys think overall. And hopefully you liked this showcase of Lex with all this stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and share because that really helps me out. And please let me know what you think because these are really hard for me. These are the hardest and the ones I like doing the least is multiple gears and then a moment on top of it because I feel like there's so many levels and everyone's going to end up in different spots. So I really, really appreciate feedback on these, constructive feedback, both positive and negative. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Good luck out there. You know, he can definitely hit. I feel like I should like him more because I usually love it when free cards can hit super hard, but I don't know why. I don't. Probably because of all the stuff and it being Hall of Fame. I'm also not big on moments in general either.